I think all the purposes of these applications are to make your PhD life a little less cluttered, more searchable, more documented, and more connected with people. Welcome back to PhD Coffee Time. This is the online community for you as PhD student to get motivation, peer support, and practical tips during your PhD. Today, I'm inspired by one of the videos on our featured channel, Andy Stapleton. He had made a wonderful video highlighting all of these essential applications that a PhD student needs. And of course, if you follow this channel for a while, you know I'm a fan of efficiency applications, and there are several applications that I have already introduced in my past video. But I really hope this one video is a good way to summarize the context of why certain applications are useful and how you could maximize your PhD experience by evaluating the usefulness of this application. If this is the first time you are at my channel, know that this is a platform that is growing and we are hoping to cover more PhD related tips and questions. So make sure you are subscribing to this channel and hit the bell notification so that videos coming from this tiny channel is going to reach you the next time. So Andy, thank you for the inspiration. I realized we have different preferences. Nothing wrong with Evernote, but I really love OneNote. And there's no right or wrong answer. Check out both videos and find out what are the great tools for your PhD. And I believe the more intentionality you put in your research, the higher efficiency it will reward you in the end, and you'll be less stressed over this journey. So first, as PhD students, we are always taking notes when we are reading, cross-referencing, and we need to write with citations, so we have to avoid plagiarism. So of course, I am going to recommend OneNote and Zotero for you when you are reading and writing, cross-referencing during your PhD. And as a PhD student, you are only working in your independent projects. Time flies when you are struggling with a unique problem. I always enjoy using Toggl, tracking my time. Toggl is just an application that you click start and stop. You are the boss behind the intentionality of why you're spending time on which task. Toggl also comes with the Pomodoro function, which I hate. I'm such an introverted person. When there is an alarm coming up during my work, I feel really scared. That's pretty much how it goes every time I have a Pomodoro alarm. I prefer the on and off menu buttons so that I'm just actively plugging in and unplugging. And the Toggl app is helpful because it tells me how much time I have been sitting at the desk focusing on the task. The first 8 minutes to 10 minutes was the toughest. If you are working in the lab with multiple timer constraints, I found this lab timer app really practical because it's not just one timer, but you can set the clock for all of your lab protocol and many procedures. Well, I'm no longer working in the lab, but I recall how useful that is. I would recommend that for you if you are setting yourself up with like a Western blot experiment and you have a strict timing. For a more research-focused application, if you need to do biostatistics, R is a free application, and I talk about the overview on how you could set up your coding station with RStudio in this video. Use ImageJ for image analysis, and that will really depend on what subject you are. And if you are in life sciences, chances are you will need ImageJ at some point of your life, even just adding a scale bar. Of course, everybody making these videos are already assuming we all have access to Microsoft PowerPoint, Word, Excel. I like to emphasize, if you are making a scientific poster, do not use PowerPoint because it is very slow, at least on my computer. If you want to make scientific illustration and poster, the right software to use would be Adobe Illustrator because I love free software. Inkscape is what I would suggest. Inkscape is also handy when you want to annotate figure labels and putting annotation on some of your gels. You can insert an image and you can annotate on the side. So this is a must-have for any discipline of PhD. We talk about how to speak politely to your advisor in several videos. I personally was surprised by what I've been getting from this little plugin called Grammarly. Grammarly comes with a Chrome add-in, and when you are typing an email, it actually encourages you to be more polite and to speak in a more positive language. And I suspected my performance so far has been related to how Grammarly has been checking my languages all the time. So I highly recommend that besides checking for grammar. I agree with Andy about Headspace. He recommended Headspace for meditation and relaxation. I have also used Headspace, but I get to a point that they ask me to pay for a subscription and I don't feel like paying money. I actually have turned to another way is to search alpha waves music on the internet. This is the type of music you will hear. You can listen to them during writing and they're going to help you perform better. So that's my music. I'm getting old. I'm not listening to music anymore when I'm writing. So this is like the music I have during the writing time. And I know especially in PhD, you have a lot of documents, or even you go to conferences, you're collecting name cards and brochures. I recommend having the application on your phone or your iPad called Scannable or Microsoft Lens. They both do the same work. It's to digitalize a rectangular document into a PDF. Then you can declutter your PhD right away without having to save all of this paper. And notice if you have a name card of someone, the real use of that name card is only after you have made a real human connection with that person. Let me repeat, a real human connection, meaning you write an email to that person, say, it's nice to meet you, this is my personal email, and this is a photo we've taken, or this is what we have spoken about at the conference. That is the first link. When you collect people's name card, it is not counted as a human connection. And nowadays, most people are on LinkedIn. And that comes to my next application. You need to install LinkedIn even you're in PhD now. Because do you know there is a PhD career networking group that is really thriving and growing these days? We have a lot of resources on that platform. It's closed private group and I think they are wonderful material to improve your sensitivity to the job market. There are academic jobs, there are industry jobs posted in that group. There are also different discussion about career advice for PhD students. So to balance out your academic focused PhD, I highly recommend you to take a nice photo of yourself, set up your PhD profile on LinkedIn early enough, and you network with all these professionals out there. So you are no longer limited by your network of alumni in your university. Another PhD essential application will have to be Trello. I've already talked about the importance of slicing your overwhelming PhD into tiny, manageable, small tasks. That includes setting a SMART goal, that includes putting all of these several-hour tasks that you can do during the week and clear them off over the week. And Trello is designed to do exactly that. Because this is a methodology, I didn't make that up. It is embraced by all of these computer scientists out there. When they're building a software, things can go wrong. Some of the code are working, some of them are not working. They have to be adaptive, and I think there's a lot PhD and academic have to learn from this way of working. So if you haven't already, download Trello on your phone and then have an account and track all your tasks on the screen. And you can sign up for free and manage your project right now. So there we have it, my version of 10 plus application for PhD. I think all the purposes of these applications are to make your PhD life a little less cluttered, more searchable, more documented, and more connected with people. So I hope all of these are of value to you, and you can also go ahead to check out some of my videos that were talking more deeply about this software. To sum up, PhD require a lot of intentional tools. Ask your friends what is their favorite one and you can check it out. I found on Twitter there is a forest app. I haven't used it myself, but apparently it's a timer once you click on, and if you are browsing other things, the little tree will vote. Okay, I hope my video covers the essential apps that are relevant to to your PhD. And let me know in the comments below what are some applications that I've missed and you love. Please share it with me because I would love to know about them, and you can talk to me on different platforms like Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. I read everything you write. Thank you for watching. I'll see you the next time.